What are alternative investment services? I'm going to answer that right now. Now you're probably wondering, what are alternative investment services? What's included? Like, what's the process? But even more importantly, how can I use it in a way that gives me financial freedom now? I want to address that in this video today. All right, so what are alternative investment services, right? What do they actually do? It's fascinating because I was curious what the marketplace defined it as versus what I saw it as, because I see alternative investment services as like kind of what we do at Money Ripples, right? Where we actually offer it. And I found out that how they define it is kind of what we do, even though it's a little bit different in some ways. So it really comes down to three things. One is they connect you, right? They connect you with those opportunities. Two, there's a variety of opportunities that are available to you, right? And what are those varieties? Just so you're aware, alternative investment services, if they only offer one thing, it's not an alternative investment service. They're literally just trying to pitch you something. And then the third thing is they provide a process or a system or a way to do that. So, I mean, that's basically what alternative investment services are. Now, will you get that with a financial advisor? The answer is pretty much, for the most part, 99+% of the time, it's a resounding no. The only time you'll see this happen is usually with family offices. Now, family offices are a little bit different. Usually you have to have at least minimum $20 million, if not more, to invest. Family offices are only for the rich. Not even just the top 1%, it's like the top fraction of 1% that get these kind of services. They target those people, it's really that full service suite, right? It's not just a financial advisor. They've got accountants, they got attorneys, they got different people in different varieties and forms and different investment options that they offer inside of it. Now, most people, when they're wealthy like this, they don't want to be the investor. They just want somebody to do it for them. So these family offices will manage their money. This is why we have hedge funds. If you've ever heard of a hedge fund, it's basically a mutual fund for the rich. And if you were really to dumb it down, it's a mutual fund for the rich. Now, mutual funds are really locked in. They can only be stocks, bonds, and that's pretty much it. Now, there are index funds you might invest in. So some of you might say, well, I'm into alternatives, sort of, because I do XRP with cryptocurrency and stuff. Like, well, yeah, that kind of is. But again, that's a paper asset. You're really not in the crypto space with XRP. You are if you own Bitcoin, if you own Ethereum, right, or the other kind of things. I was gonna say Doge, but does anybody really buy Doge anymore? That thing kind of tanked. So you got all these kind of things out there, right? And so when you have these alternative investments, when you have this kind of stuff like a hedge fund, now hedge funds have more flexibility than a mutual fund. Mutual funds, again, are only locked in really just stocks and bonds. But hedge funds can invest in almost anything they want. They can invest in things like real estate. They can invest in private equity and in businesses. They can go put their money in commodities like gold and silver. They can put their money just about anywhere. So the rules are very flexible. In the United States Congress, they made it easier for the rich to get richer. Unfortunately for you, if you don't have at least $20 million, you're not gonna have those benefits. But there is an answer. There is a way around it. Like I said, financial advisors, if you ask them, hey, can you help me with alternative investments? They're gonna say no. Why? Now, it might be they just don't know what they are. That was me at one point. But at the same time, it's also because when you have a license as a financial advisor, speaking from my own personal experience, you don't have a license to make your clients money. That's not what you have. You have a license to sell your clients into specific investments. For example, I had a Series 6 and a Series 63. What that basically means is I can sell you mutual funds, right? Now, if someone wanted to do stocks, bonds, maybe trade options, I'd have more like a Series 7. I could have a Series 65. I can start offering advice and charging fees and doing things like that. All that kind of stuff. Like, there's so many different licenses and things, but really it's just to sell specific types of products. And so what I tell people is, remember, like, financial advisors are not licensed to give you good advice. They're licensed to sell you something. And that makes it hard because to a hammer, everything looks like a nail. To a financial advisor, everything looks like mutual funds, stocks, and bonds. That's it. You want alternative investments, on a rare occasion, you'll find somebody who is. I actually referred one of my friends over. He's like, I'm looking for a financial advisor who actually likes alternatives. I said, you know what? I don't think I want to work with you necessarily, but I do know a guy that's out there that can do this for you. And so I referred him to one of my friends that does play in the alternatives. He does mostly with mutual funds, but he actually loves real estate too. So they're very hard to find, especially a good one. And so this is why we exist even at Money Ripples. This is the need that I kept seeing for myself, because I want to do alternative investments for myself. I spend really the last 20 years building up my network, building up a network of attorneys and accountants, right? Kind of like my own family office of the sort, because I didn't have 20, 30, 40, 50 million to give to some financial advisor who I wouldn't know if I would trust anyways, to a family office that way. And so I would instead say, I'm going to do it myself, because I want to make money before I have 20 million. And so I started to get those attorneys and accountants. I started to get different people. Now I already played in the stock space quite a bit. I even trade stocks and options. realized not just my life, but the lives of those that have been doing it for years, they weren't financially free either. Just like financial advisors. They were probably closer to financial freedom, but they weren't there. The way I know this is that I even knew somebody who would sell people on their options program, teach them about options, and they came to us saying, Chris, I need to learn how to create passive income. I hate being stuck to my computer that I have to go log in every day to manage my investments. I said, yep, I can teach you that. It's real estate, it's over here, right? And so we did. And that's what kind of developed over time as I built up my own portfolio of investments and investors. More important than just finding the investments is the right investor, because most people out there aren't good with your money. If they're in real estate, they might have been out in real estate in the last 5 years. They haven't really learned the ropes. They haven't been through hard times and know how to overcome and be adaptable. I want the person that's got a bunch of gray hairs because they lost a bunch of money and then the gray hairs came and then they learned their lessons. They became a better investor. Those are the ones I'm more trusting my money if I want to be a passive investor. Again, I don't want to be the active one. I don't want to be the one that's doing a fix and flip myself. I don't want to be the one managing my own properties. I don't want to be the one going and try to transact businesses all day long. I want to be able to take my money and put it with somebody and make money from that. Even if we have to split profits, even if I have to get paid a certain percentage, I'm okay with that because I can make 10, 11, 12+% a year in these alternative investments with real estate by having somebody else do all the work versus me doing any of it. And the great thing is it comes to me as income, not just growing my money, which I can do too, but it comes as income to me. And so that's where it kind of created almost my own alternative investment service, because again, you gotta connect, you gotta have a variety, and you gotta have a process. And so that's what we started doing. People kept coming to me saying, Chris, well, how did you do what you did? You became financially independent twice. I wanna just do it once. How do I do it? I said, all right, well, here's what you can do, right? And I'd help them with the cash flow process that we have and figure out how do we actually know where financial independence is for you? What's the number we have to hit? And then how do we get there? How do we find the money? How do we get the cash out, right? So we had to kind of explore those options. We really kind of do what I call that launch pad session, right? Where we first start to really look at your full cash flow picture, what's available, what are things we can liquidate and use to actually go and invest and create passive income with it. And so we start to look at that and then we start to explore opportunities, right? We start to see what are available. And more importantly, especially if you're working one-on-one, you want a customized game plan. You don't have to look at every investment option out there because you'll be spending years researching and never making any money. But instead, if you have somebody that says, listen, from my perspective as an investor, I can see your situation here. Ignore all these other things over here, but here's maybe 3 to 5 type of investments you should look at. And by the way, here's some people we've invested with that we like. You don't have to use them, but here's people we've used that are kind of in our network that we've vetted over the years. And then those people can meet with those people and then they start to explore those options. And then when they get to the point they say, you know what, I feel comfortable with this or that, then they make the deal. That's that third phase, right? 1 is that launch pad, 2 is exploring the opportunities, 3 is that make the deal phase, right? Where we start to put the money where our mouth is, put the money in the investments so then we start generating that passive income now. From there, we start to protect assets, make sure you protect what you have and what you make because you don't want to have one event in your life take it all away. So have the right attorneys in place and the right corporate structures also for tax savings too and protect you from taxes. How do we protect you from lawsuits, creditors? How do we protect you in case of health or medical emergencies or even disability or life issues, like death and things like that? How do we protect you so that your plan never fails? That 5th phase, which is that income avalanche, right? Taking that passive income and then reinvesting it again to make bigger income each and every year. And that is the process to do it, right? So again, you get connected to those deals. There's a variety of them. That's the one thing that's important. Watch out for people that are trying to sell you into certain deals because what you gotta watch out for is it their own deal they're selling you into. I know plenty of groups that are like mastermind groups that really just try to pitch you into their deals. They'll say there's other deals, but for the 50% or more of the time, it's always their deals that they try to put you into. So they're literally just trying to create their own little funnel of people to go and buy their stuff, right? And that, to me, is a conflict of interest. 2, sometimes there's mastermind groups that have a variety of deals with different people, but they get paid on the back end. They get paid these little commissions and fees. And you start to question, like, well, because you get paid, how do I trust that advice is pure? How do I know it's unbiased? Because that sounds almost like what a financial advisor does. You're getting paid on the back end. And by the way, what if I lose money? You made money, but I didn't. You're not losing anything. And that's why a lot of those times, those people end up losing in lawsuits. So you don't want that. You want somebody who's apart from it, that maybe they only charge the client, but they don't actually charge and make money from these deals, like those people being referred to those deals, right? And that's the thing you want to look out for. So again, you want a variety of stuff that's not influenced by them getting paid commissions or being their own deals. And then of course 3, that there's a process, a system that's proven time after time, year after year, over and over and over again. And like I said, that's kind of what we do as well. It doesn't mean you have to use us, at Money Ripples, but that's the kind of thing that we do as well. Okay, now if you're curious about alternative investment services, you're curious about what you can do, here's what I'd recommend. Go to moneyripples.com. You can actually look under the consulting type of aspect, the tab that's there. There's also a passive income calculator. Put your numbers in there and you'll be able to find out how much passive income you could create in the next 12 months. So go try that at moneyripples.com today.